Hustle versus grit. Although they may sound like the same thing, they are completely not. So which one would you rather have? What's up, fam? Rafael Cortez here, back on the Entrepreneur Mindset series. Hustle versus grit. It may sound like a mindset video, but it's really not. Let's talk about the difference between each one of those, all right? And let's get real here for a second. I'm always pushing against the whole idea of hustle, although I believe like it's one of the things that we need to have as entrepreneurs. You can't get anywhere if you don't have the hustle to get off the floor, right? Now, once you're off the floor, you need to transition into a different type of thinking, the entrepreneurship thinking. And as we're going through that transition of growth, it's important to have a combination of both, all right? So it's not the same thing. Hustle and grit are not the same thing. And it's important to have a combination of both. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's break it down. And before I do, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the videos. Help us grow the channel so we can get to more people and help more entrepreneurs out there. So now back to the regular programming. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by saying that the hustle and the grit are not the same thing? Well, first off, hustle, it's non-strategic. You can hustle in the tasky stuff. How many times have you seen somebody who's hustling 24/7? They just seem to make no progress. Hustle, it's not necessarily linked to strategy, okay? So hustle is not strategic and it's associated with time. People who are hustling for a long time, yeah, they have that hustle instinct and whatnot, but it doesn't mean that they're being strategic about the actions that they're taking. Hustle means that you have a prolonged sense of action, which is really good. We need that consistency of action and the tenacity that it takes to stay on top of that horse for long periods of time. We have to work for long enough to give a chance for things to work out, right? So that's where the hustle comes in. Now, it's associated with time, not necessarily strategy. Grit, on the other hand, is completely different. Grit is having the backbone to come back and bounce from failure. Grit is also having the ability to see things from a strategic standpoint, okay? So you come back from failure and then you sit there and then you think, what could I have done differently? Okay, that's grit. It's not, breaking walls with your forehead. I mean, that's a connotation of hustle. Grit, on the other side, is having the emotional intelligence, the emotional acuity of understanding that failures are temporary. Okay, they happen over a short period of time and they last for a short period of time. If you come back, if you have the grit to come back from something and put emphasis on strategic thinking, your grit muscle is gonna get stronger, okay? And your ability to endure adversity, and I hyphenate, is gonna be at a whole nother level. Why adversity? Because we're entrepreneurs, okay? Just by definition, we live in the space of adversity. Why? Because we find solutions through that adversity. Anything that comes at us as a challenge, we have to look at it as an opportunity to succeed, as an opportunity to become better, to do something bigger. Okay, so that's the difference between hustle and grit. Hustle, it's directly linked to time and how long you're doing actions, not necessarily strategic actions, but just actions. And that can be a bad thing if you're caught up in the tasky and the busy work, right? If you're not being strategic. Now, grit, on the other hand, it's the ability to come back or to put together, to endure adversity, right? And do it in a strategic way. Grit gives us the opportunity of exponential growth. Exponential growth, just because of its natural correlation to strategic thinking, okay? If you have grit, means that you're enduring things for a long time. If you have hustle, you can fail and then pivot and do something else, right? The ability to work, your capacity to put in the hours, it's not gonna go away. That's hustle. But if you have grit, you have the tenacity and the ability to come back and then just sustain adversity for a long period of time until you give the thing that you're working on enough time for it to work. That's where grit comes in, okay? It helps us stick with the stuff that we're adamant about making work. Whenever it feels like things have bottomed out and you failed and just shit hit the fan, that's where grit is gonna come in and save you, okay? It's not gonna be the hustle, because you can continue hustling and doing the wrong stuff, right? But grit is gonna bring you back and it's gonna give you that sense of strategic thinking that we need. Because the hustle can only take you so far. That's the biggest thing. Anybody who knows me knows that I have a fight against hustle alone, okay? Hustle is gonna push you, it's gonna launch you, and it's gonna take you to a certain place in your journey, right? But it's not gonna get you the whole way. That's where grit and tenacity come in, okay? Strategic thinking, switch the idea of the hustle and just doing and thinking that's gonna give you big, massive results, because at the end of the day, it's not. You have to build grit into it. You have to build strategic thinking into it. And until you do that, until you combine both hustle and grit, you're not gonna see any real results in your business. So keep that in mind. Now, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, share. Help me reach more entrepreneurs, and by all means, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay focused, you got this.